Welcome in. It is day 84, and you're speaking with the Meeples Champion. And today, on October 2nd, we're going to go into another one of those Halloween-themed or darker-themed games. This one's not a massively dark-themed game, but I did feel like for a smaller game, it's one that actually kind of fits for me for October. It's an easy, quick-to-play, it's a lot of fun, and just the setting of it is being in like these dark tunnels. And to me, I was like, yeah, the location of the game is kind of what makes me feel like it's a fun, pull it out for Halloween time of year. I do think this one is perfectly fine year round. It's just for me a little bit more of an October month game. And that game is Saboteur. So Saboteur is all about, you were multiple people who are all playing, I believe we're all playing dwarves, in a cave. And we're trying to make our way through, we're using our pickaxes and trying to reach gold. Now, at the start of the game, everybody draws a card, and one of you, likely, is going to end up being the Saboteur. And your goal is to make sure nobody reaches the gold. Now, you don't know which one is the gold. There is an A, a B, and a C slot, essentially. You all start, you're all controlling the same person, and or I should say, you're all controlling the same path, and every time that it's your turn, you play a card, and you get to advance the path in a direction. So your goals are to try to get down and check each spot, and once somebody has found the gold, it signifies the end of the round, and then you will basically figure out from there, okay, this person gets the gold, so they get this many points, and you move on to the next round, and everybody does it again, and there's a new Saboteur. And you do this for 3 rounds, and then you add up all the things everybody found, and you figure out where everybody lands. So the Saboteur is all about trying to misdirect, but they're also trying to make sure they don't make it obvious, because there's more than just advancing the tunnel. There's also the idea of like, you can take, break somebody's pickaxe, you can put out somebody's light, you can break their cart. And if you do this, they are not allowed to continue to advance the tunnel. They have to find a way to fix that, or if you break somebody's thing and somebody else believes that the thing that you just broke was that of a partner, they feel like, oh, that wasn't the Saboteur. Either the Saboteur attacked them or somebody mistakenly messed up the wrong person. Somebody can use their turn to fix a light or to fix it, all based on the cards you've gathered. So it's a really interesting game. You play till the pile runs out, and when that happens, the game ends, and you just see if anybody has found the gold at that point. If somebody finds the gold, that ends it right away. It's a quick game. The rounds don't take long, maybe 5-10 minutes. So the game in total takes 15 to 30 minutes. It's pretty quick. But it's a cool little game. It's definitely been around for a while. I believe there's Saboteur 2 out now as well. I've never gotten a chance to play that one. I'm not sure what they changed. But it's a fun game. And I think it definitely fits for me, the theme of being in a dark tunnel to be a Halloween theme. So let's jump in and judge this based on our 7 categories. Category 1. The box is fine. I think the box, it's a small little box. You're not doing a lot here. It's just trying to sell the point of looking like a Saboteur. It does it for me. And then the cards, I mean, the art is essentially just tunnel spots followed by either pickaxes or your carts or your light. There's not a lot to work with here because it's just a card game, but I think they do a very good job of selling the game, and the art looks good. It's a thumbs up. Components are the same as the art. There's not a lot to deal with here. You're really just dealing with cards, and they're very well done. I've owned this game for quite a few years. It's never had an issue with me. It's always been fine. No cards have torn, nothing's worn. The sides don't look like they're starting to give. That's the kind of stuff you're looking for in a game, and this is held up. So it's a thumbs up. This is a cheap game. Now, you're not going to find this everywhere, but you probably will find it on shelves at your Barnes & Noble. Usually they have a little smaller section, and that's for the small card games, and this is usually there. Target, I don't think I've seen it there before, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's there because it's a pretty well-known game and it's so small. And your basic board game stores, it's all based on the type of game store you have. If it's a game store that has a legit small section, this will be there. If it's a game store that only has like a little shelf in the front, maybe not. Because there's a lot of small games, you can only fit so many in a store, and if it doesn't have a whole like actual display of them and it's just a small section, this probably isn't going to make it there. But overall, you're probably finding this at least 2, maybe 3 out of 5 stores. The price is right in that $12, maybe $15 range, which is perfectly fine for what you're getting. It's a great game, it plays fun, and it's not that much money. If it doesn't hit for you, you haven't wasted a bunch of your cash. So I think the price is good. It's a thumbs up for me. This is not difficult. You can play this at all 4 levels. You can play this as a kid, a beginner, an intermediate, experienced player, or your actual expert. And I think all 4 levels will enjoy it. I think as a kid or as a beginner, you'll be really excited when you first see this game because it is fun. And it's like, oh, okay, this is simple. I get what we're doing. I think as an experienced player, it's a great game to pull out and to enjoy, for your family or with friends who aren't part of your game group. But even in the game groups, my game group has had a few times where we pulled this out and played it for the night. This is a fun, like, hey, we still want to have to work, but we're looking to take a week off from doing our regular crazy, hard games. We'll just pull this out and play it 4 or 5 times in a row. We've done that on 3 different occasions. So it's definitely, for me, difficulty is not an issue. Easy to learn, easy to play, nothing to worry about there, and it will work for all the levels. Thumbs up. Replayability goes right with what I just spoke about. You can play this 4 or 5 times in a row, and you're going to be able to pull this out multiple times in a year. This may not be a game that in your game group you say, we've pulled it out more than 2 or 3 different occasions. Because to me, I judge a game group as it's either monthly or it's weekly. My game group is weekly, so 52 opportunities. We'll probably pull this out once or twice minimum, maybe 3 times in a year, for those once in a while occasions. But for family and for your friends who aren't part of the game group, I think it's an easy grab. So even if your game group isn't interested in playing this whenever, you're going to have a chance with your family and friends who aren't part of that. So thumbs up on the replayability. So when it comes to it, you're judging it based on 2 different roles. Role 1 is the dwarves who are trying to get to the gold. Now, essentially, what you're trying to do is look ahead, see where the 3 pieces are. The design of the game is that if you start here and the 3 are 1, 2, and 3, you can go straight ahead to the middle path, or you have to go 1, 2, and straight ahead, or 1, 2, and straight ahead in order to reach those other 2. So it's 5 lanes you're working with. You can go beyond those. If you want to try to go around and come in, you can do that. But those are your 5 essential lanes. So for their point of view, the keys to victory are, yes, technically you want to go directly there. But there's the deduction. You're trying to figure out who is the saboteur, and based on that, making sure either not to sabotage somebody who is, or to help people who have been sabotaged who you think are on your team. There's also the question of, just because they're on your team does not mean that you want them to go and find the gold. Because if your team wins, you'll get some points. But then you're also going to get points based on who finds that gold, and that's a big payout of points. So it might be that you're playing a 4-player game, 3 are on a team, and you go to yourself like, all right, I could put this card down and we'll be 1 away from the gold. But if I do that, and then they get it, they're getting a big bonus. So you might instead want to do a little mini sabotage and say, like, I'm not going to block the path, but like I'm going to put it over here and say I couldn't move forward yet. And as a result, hope that it gets back to me and I can finish the path. Also, there's the ability with certain cards to peek, meaning that you'll play the card and you'll get to choose something, look underneath, and you'll know if it's gold or not. Now, you can tell everybody, but you cannot show the card. So if you're the saboteur, of course, people may not believe you. And if you're not the saboteur, people still may not believe you. But based on how the game's going, if you feel like it's pretty obvious where the gold, like you find the gold and you don't want people to know, you could say, yeah, there's no gold there. And then tell people like, okay, well, if you want, I think we should go down below, but why don't we go for the middle? And then you last minute redirect the path and you're able to get in there and get the gold. So you never know, but there's ways to do it from that side. The Saboteur, on the other hand, they have multiple ways to do this. Am I going to straight up just block paths and make it obvious who I am and make it so you guys can't do anything? Am I going to try and damage you guys so you can't keep building, but try to play it off that I'm not the Saboteur and that I don't trust somebody? Am I going to play cards in a way that I say, hey, I need to play something, let me go here, and I know I'm kind of messing this path up, but I'm just going to go and loop it so we can get right back in, and tell them you just didn't have the right cards, you had to play something somewhere. There's a lot of ways to strategize there, and you can also use the peak card and then tell people like, okay, the gold's here, I found it. And then once you get to that spot, now they know you're the Saboteur, but it might cause them to go all the way down to the south, and suddenly they realize, shoot, we wasted 5 turns of cards to get here, and it's not there, and now we have to go up north, and now you can start hitting them with all of your cards to attack. So there's ways to do that. I think there's plenty of keys to victory. It's a thumbs up. Is this game unique? Now, I haven't played Saboteur 2, but that in itself kind of implies that it's at least not unique within its own little grouping of games. But then beyond that, the ability to play cards, to build a path, we've seen this with some other games. I do think the idea of the Saboteur is probably unique to that style of game, and that's where I think about it and I go, okay, does this qualify for unique? Is this game giving me something that I can't replicate that style game elsewhere? As of right now, I'm going to give it a thumbs up and say it is. I don't believe it actually does. I'm positive there's other games that I can probably play that'll give me most of what this is for an experience. I just don't know them. I haven't played them. And until I do, I can't claim that this isn't unique if I don't know for sure. Based on my gaming experience, I haven't played another game that lets me experience a game from start to finish that feels that close to this. Things that have little pieces that are familiar, but used in such a different way that I'd play them at different times based on the mood. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up. And, so what overall do I think about this game? I really like the game. I think it's really cool that it's in my collection. I really like that I have that option for a quick game. And I think that it's one that, for you guys, you should try to get it in your collection. And I would suggest buying it. I don't think you need to play it first. It's cheap enough, and it's going to be a game that, if you don't like small games, you're going to know not to buy it. If you are okay with all level of game, or you like small games, this will hit for you. It's going to be great. And I would suggest focusing on getting this in the month of October so that you can make it a Halloween game. Because for me, this is a game that I'll pull out with the family and say like, hey, I want to play a Halloween game and I don't want it to be too heavy for you guys. Here's a small game. We're going to be all in like some tunnels and playing. I think it'll be fun. And we can play that, and it feels like a theme. You do this at a Halloween party or just a get-together. I think it'll be fine, and it'll be a fun night. But that's just my opinion. It's up to you guys to not only determine if you want to go try this game and if it's the right game for you, but also determine if it does get that feel like it does for me to be a Halloween-themed style game, to be a game that you can play in October and get like that fun little extra theme hit. I think it does it for me, but maybe it doesn't do it for all of you guys. Well, it has been day 84, and we've been talking about the game Saboteur, and you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding in an Amazon link so you guys can go pick this game up for yourself. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.